just so inspiring to just be friends with someone that has achieved that type of, like, overnight, like that. Like, it's just crazy.
Well, congrats on your podcast. You've had some huge success with it. Tell us why you wanted to start that and what you've learned about yourself since starting it.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much. Well, I don't know. I started it because I really enjoyed doing podcasts. Like, I really enjoyed sitting down and like getting to know people and learning more about my friends and people around me, because I found that I don't really, like, when you're out and about, you don't really have those like deep conversations with people. And then I realized that like a lot of people around me have some really cool stories to tell. So I just thought, well, we may as well just get on a podcast, sit down, and I can learn more about people around me. And get closer with them, as well as like giving them a chance to talk about their story on a platform that they normally wouldn't, because I feel like people don't usually like to talk about their own past traumas or like their stories on their own platforms, because they feel like it's a bit, I don't know, like a bit boring. So I've like, that's why I try and, like, I personally don't talk about myself on my podcast, where I'd rather learn about people and go from there. But I found like it's been the most rewarding thing that I've done. Like, the show is great, everything's amazing, but having a podcast has been the most rewarding thing, like being out and about and meeting people that listen to it and feel like, I think it's the best thing, because people now feel like they're sitting down and like talking to me and having conversations. So whenever they see me out and about, they just want to talk and like have a good time. And I love meeting new people. I think that's been the most rewarding thing so far.
That's awesome. I love that. Is there a guest, a celebrity guest that you'd love to have on that you haven't yet?
I feel like there's so many interesting people. It's not necessarily about like being a celebrity or anything like that. It's more so like people with cool stories and like cool ideas and stuff like that. So I haven't really thought too much in, because I kind of just started it to just have, I didn't really, like, I kind of started just to have fun and like learn more about people. I didn't really dig too much about it. I wasn't really like, oh, this is going to be like, you know, on YouTube, it's kind of just like I'm talking, having an hour with my friends and like getting to learn about people. So I don't know. I'm not too sure about celebrities. I'm more sure about like people that have like interesting stories to tell and stuff like that. Because I find that like a lot of celebrities are kind of like closed off anyway. They don't want to talk about that stuff. So like when I get, you know, normal people that have gone through crazy stuff, that's what I enjoy. Like, I love learning about that stuff.
That's cool. I like that answer. Your friend Alex Cooper just allegedly got a huge deal with Spotify, $60 million. Did you get any tips?
I swear to God, I was driving yesterday when I saw the news and I got goosebumps all over me, and I started like tearing up. I was so happy. I'm so inspired by her. The fact that she's achieved all this in just a couple of years, and the fact that her net worth is now, you know, 60 million. Like, it is mind blowing, and like it couldn't be more deserving. Like, she worked so hard. She's, you know, in her own lane. She's focused on her business. She's focused on growing a podcast, and that's it. Like, she's just so ambitious and focused on making it the biggest podcast in the world. So it's just so inspiring to just be friends with someone that has achieved that type of, like, overnight, like that. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it got me so happy. I sent her the most like hype voice note ever and posted on my story. I was just really inspiring to see her just, you know, cutting above everyone else.
Yeah, it's super inspiring. I need all of her tips too. You also are on OnlyFans. You have a big following on that. Why did you want to join that platform? Yeah, so with OnlyFans, the main thing for me that kind of swayed me over was I try and reply to every single comment on TikTok and Instagram and engage with people as much as I can. I remember when I was coming up on social media, and when I have someone like a whole bunch of followers reply to one of my comments, I would be so hyped. Like, it would make my day so much better. So that's what I always try and do. I always try and like give that feeling back to someone else. So I try and reply to as many comments as possible and DMs, but it got to a point where it was overwhelming. Like, the show was coming out, I was getting like 2 million story views like every single day, and it was like overwhelming to the point where I couldn't keep up. So I found that I was very blessed that OnlyFans is around, so that I could move the dedicated fans and dedicated friends over to that platform where I can engage with them like every single day, learn more about them, and like, I guess give back that feeling, but also like connect with people more, because for me, like, it's very important to make sure that I'm leaving a positive impact and communicating and, you know, being
as in many places as I can. So I don't know. I think that's just been the main thing for me. But also, like, I'm a very sexual person, so I don't mind like getting my clothes off and like having a good time. So that's also another part of it as well.
I love it. Your DMs must be insane. Like either on OnlyFans, like, can you read us some? Is there like, you have to read us one or two, please? Just some crazy ones.
I did screenshot one the other day. So I was in Miami, and and I was walking through the lobby, and there was a whole bunch of girls there. And my friend that was with me, because I'm kind of like naive to it. I'm like, I don't usually listen if people talk, because I don't know, sometimes people say bad stuff, so I don't want to hear it. So I kind of like tune out when I walk past like groups of people. But my friends were like, oh no, they're like chatting about you. I was like, oh yeah, nice. So I checked my DMs like 5 minutes later, and this girl from the lobby literally DM'd me, said, I just passed you in the lobby and you look good. I swear to God, I screenshot it. I sent it to my friends. I was like, there's no way. But like, I get like, I just think it's because it must be because I have the podcast and I'm very like open about, you know, my sexual life and stuff like that. So I find that like people just don't, which is great because it's very interesting. It's very fun. Like I've had some crazy DMs about like people just like straight up like spitting my, like stuff like that, like out of nowhere. Like it's wild. And like, like when I was in a relationship, I had like girls like fly me out. I won't tell anyone. I can be your little secret. Like all this stuff. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Do you take anyone up on any of these things? Do you reply to DMs?
There's been a couple where I couldn't say no. I was like, yeah, sure. Like you're brave. You're going that far, so I may as well just tap into that.
Have you met people in person, like from your DMs?
Yeah.
It's insane. I want to live your life for like one day.
Oh, it's crazy. It's wild.
Going back to OnlyFans, which celebrities do you subscribe to on OnlyFans? I gotta know.
I mainly support my friends. Like that's pretty much it. Like there's obviously a lot of like Instagram models. I'll probably pay their rent with the amount of like times I unlock photos and stuff like that. But I mainly just want to support my friends and like keep it in the family, you know. Like there's I'm like it's a little bit funny, but I support a lot of my like guy friends and like girlfriends as well, like Tana, my friend Mike Shabbat. Like it's just, I don't know, I'd rather just like engage with them on their platforms and like try and help grow them as well as like support them as well. So yeah,
absolutely. Did Too Hot to Handle kind of prep you for the crazy LA, Miami life, dating life that you're leading now?
I think it's the exact opposite, to be honest. Like Too Hot to Handle was kind of like, preparing us to like not have sex, whereas like we come with the other side of it, and like having sex like 2 or 3 times a day. Like Miami was just like disgraceful. Like it would be like, okay, we left the club, hooked up with someone, and then it was like 4 a.m. I'm like, oh no, probably like 6 a.m. Like, oh yeah, okay, come over, this person just left. So it's probably the exact opposite.
Yeah,
very chaotic.
That's insane. Obviously there's a season 2 coming out. Have you reached out to anyone on that cast and given them advice?
Yeah, of course. I legit just I've got a group chat with a whole bunch of them at the moment. And I just think the most beneficial thing for me is watching other people succeed. So I every single day, like I'm sending them voice notes with like what they should do, because they're like obviously getting a little bit overwhelmed and they don't know what's going on. But for me, like unlike a lot of my other casts, like they're kind of like worried that this is their time up. Like I get excited. Like I'm like, this is their moment. They get to, you know, live what we had, and obviously, you know, it's going to be awesome to see what comes out of it and who, you know, takes it the furthest. So I've been really excited. Like I've been really hyped. I've been commenting on all their stuff, blowing up their DMs, like having a good time. They're really good people. Like they're really excited and really hyped. So yeah, it's the most rewarding thing for me is just to watch people in my circle win. So that's all I want. I just want to help them get as big as possible.
What is your advice, if you could sum it up?
So I pretty much just told them, I was like, hey, like when the show comes out, make sure you're duetting everything that is Too Hot to Handle related on TikTok. Make sure you're using these hashtags. Make sure you're posting on Instagram once a day. Like when the show's in its prime, you want to be going as crazy as possible and posting polls on your story first thing in the morning, because that boosts engagement. And just mainly like just only reply to positive comments. Don't reply to negative stuff. helping them make sure that they have their team sorted behind the back end, so they're not like stressing out when like brand deals and stuff come in, merch, all that stuff. Like I've just been really like hyper engaged with them, because I remember how I was when I was coming into this situation, and I kind of did it all by myself. I was very blessed that we built a very strong team around me through the chaos. But now I'm like, okay, this is what happens. And I just don't want people to go through the type of stress that I went through. Like I want them to learn from my mistakes and my speed bumps and just absolutely crush it and make more money and get bigger than any of us.
Yeah. Would you do the show again?
I would love to. I feel like it would, anything Netflix related is always a winner in my books, but yeah. I just don't know if they'd want me back on, because I'm probably more of a sex addict now than I was before.
But that's what we want to see. We want to see you not be able to do that.
Yeah, it would legit be like the worst rehab for me.
Obviously, we have to ask you about Francesca. You posted with her recently. So can you set the record straight? It sounds like you're single, but are you single right now?
Yeah, I'm 100% single. We tried to give it another go, but just clear miscommunication on a lot of fronts. And yeah, I've been trying to handle the whole situation privately and offline, and that's what I'm going to continue to do if there's anything that arises with her. But I can tell you now, forever, I'll never be put in a relationship or put myself in that situation again. So yeah, I just want all the best for her. I know she's a great person and she's got a really big heart. So all I want is her to be happy and find peace and love and continue to do great things. I
don't know how into it you want to get, but what did happen? You've talked a lot about, things changed when cameras turned off. So what did change? What other side of her did you see that came out?
I just think it's very difficult when you have a very extremely private relationship. Like we kept it very private for as soon as we were filming the show, that was private all the way through till when it aired. We kept that whole situation super private. And then once the whole world kind of got a whiff of it, it was very crazy. Like you have to imagine, you have a relationship with just two people. Now the whole world is putting their energy into it, and it kind of like gets a little bit foggy, a little bit funky. And yeah, it's very difficult dating in this scene. So I've learned now that the best approach is to just keep it completely private until, you're rock solid and that that nothing can kind of tear you apart. Whereas that relationship was always a little bit on edge. It was very, very toxic on both sides.
Was there jealousy when she dated other people after the show?
No, not at all. I've always been excited for her, and I've always wanted her to just be happy. And when I saw her dating other people and in relationships, and I'd see Instagram posts of her being happy, that made me more happy, and the happiest that I needed to be, and gave me the closure, because I'm like, damn, like it's good to see someone that you love and care for be happy and in a great place. And that's all I'd ever want for her. So that's kind of just been the best thing. There's never been any jealousy or anything like that. It's always been that I cherished our time together, and I want her to just have a happy and fulfilling life.
Well, that's nice. You guys were obviously very serious at some point in your relationship. Did you ever consider getting married or bought a ring or anything like that?
We had that conversation many times. And we did have like a shared folder where we would have like rings and stuff come in. But again, like it was like very like, hey, I just met you, let's get married. It was like right away. And then as soon as the whole world kind of jumped in on it, and they put their energy into it, it kind of just got like a little bit stressful and a little bit crazy. So there was a point there where we were certain that we were going to get married and it was going to happen. But obviously a whole bunch of things happened in between, and a whole bunch of things happened privately that didn't make that happen. But yeah.
I was going to ask if you would ever do a spin-off show with her, but it sounds like it's done. You guys are not.
I say never. Like there's obviously still, obviously I still love her. I think she's a great person. And, I just want nothing but the best for her. But I say like, it would be good to be put in a situation where it's, super private again and we can figure it out. But again, for me now, like where I'm at mentally, I'm just focused on becoming the best version of myself, being a positive impact, making the podcast go crazy and interview fun people, and just try and be a good influence and a good role model for the people that follow me and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where my goals are at.
When's the last time you guys spoke?
I actually don't know. I think it was when all the drama and stuff that was happening with her and Tana was going on, and I was really trying to handle the situation privately, but then she just blocked me on everything, and yeah, just hasn't really given me an opportunity to speak to her again. But I did do my absolute best to try and make it sorted, but she keeps saying a whole bunch of stuff online about me, but that's okay. I've just been trying to be as respectful for her in her space.
Your friend Logan Paul has gotten into the whole celebrity boxing world that's kind of big right now. Is that something, he just went, I think, 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather, so it's crazy. Is that something that you would do? Yeah,
I've been working away at it for a while. Like, I've been sharpening my tools and training with Manny Pacquiao's head strength and conditioning coach, which has been really good, probably for like a year now. So I've just been working behind the scenes. I don't really like to talk too much about it. I would rather, like in this situation, I found that when I started calling people out and like putting out that negative energy, a whole bunch of negative stuff started happening to me. So I'm like, okay, well, it's not really the person I want to be. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm tough, I'm mean, I'm scary, because that's not me. I want to be fun and playful. So I've been training just in case that if there is an offer that comes through. There's been a couple. I signed a couple contracts, but the other people didn't sign theirs. I guess I'm a bit of a big dude, a bit of like maybe a bit scary. So in that sense, I haven't really like, it's not really my legacy. Like, I'm not really going forward and like, okay, like in 5 years time, I want to fight Mike Tyson. That's not who I want to be. Like, if there's obviously an opportunity to do it and to smack someone in the head for a lot of money, I would love to, but I'd rather just make people laugh and focus on the podcast and just make good content and try and be a positive guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not shockingly, I'm not a huge boxing fan, so I'd rather watch Too Hot to Handle.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Shocking. I know. I know you're friends with Logan. Are you friends with Jake? I know that you guys had some beef in the past because of people that you dated, some similar people.
Yeah, no, I think I don't think he needs another person hating him in this world, so I don't really care about him. I think, I wanted to box him at some point, but he's that's his legacy, is to go down that route and to get to Conor McGregor. And I think that is inspiring to see. I don't really have anything bad to say about him. I would love to box him because the opportunity would be great and it'd be awesome to get in the ring and make that happen. But again, like, not really too bothered. I'm a huge fan of Logan and what those boys have achieved. So yeah.
It's kind of remarkable. What do you think about him fighting Tyron Woodley?
Yeah, like it's crazy. It's crazy to see how he went from Ben Askren to Tyron Woodley. And Tyron Woodley's a different beast. He's an animal. So
yeah,
I think this is probably going to be a real test for him, and I'm very excited to watch it unfold. And hats off to him and his team back him to the point where they're putting him up against like an actual killer and someone that is deadly. So it's going to be interesting, and I think he's very brave. I definitely wouldn't do that.
No, I think I will watch that one. I know you're good friends with Tana. Would you guys ever? I know you kind of had a little dating thing with her. I think she dated Francesca, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. How are you guys now? Is that still like a weird love triangle or no? And would you ever date Tanya?
Me and Tana never would date. Just our tastes and people are completely opposite. I simply see her as like one of the homies. Like I call her for advice. I talk to her about like anything that you would talk to your best friend about. It's completely a best friend relationship, and I couldn't see it going any further than that. And same with her. Like she knows exactly how we are, and there's no like feelings or anything like that involved. Like she'll call me, she'll check in. It's just how best friends are. I think, yeah, she's one of the most nicest people that I've met in this city, and it's one of the craziest things is like she puts up such a crazy, chaotic like lifestyle online because I guess that's her brand. But like deep down, and like when you spend time with her, she's very relaxed, she's very smart, she's very business driven, she's very like goal focused and orientated in that sense. And loyalty is like a huge thing for her. Like she's kept all her friends since day one. So I think that's kind of been the biggest thing that kind of draw me to her as well. Like especially in the city, is the fact that everyone in the city has like a 6-month cycle with friends, but with her, she's kept her friends since day one. So yeah, no, I love it a bit. And yeah, we've never dated, we've never hooked up, we've never kissed, we haven't even done anything. It's always been like, that's my best friend.
That's nice. How is she with Francesca now? Do you know their status? Got to ask the hard questions, you know?
No, they hate each other. They have since Francesca like stopped talking to Tana to go hang out with Bella Thorne, and I think that was kind of like the final straw. Was like they were on really good terms, and then Francesca kind of just left her for someone more clout, I guess. So, and ever since then, I don't think they've liked each other, but that's their relationship. And yeah.
Understood. We wanted to know, would you ever go on The Bachelor or be a contestant on The Bachelorette?
I would love to. I was actually with Tyler Cameron and Matt James in Miami on the weekend. And they're just really nice dudes. Apart from Tyler, he wanted to fight me in a boxing match, which would be fun.
I would love to see that.
I honestly would love to do The Bachelor. I feel like I would have so much fun on it. And it would really give me a good opportunity to kind of pull away from like the whole LA dating scene and sit down and get to learn about people and get to know people that actually are there for love and like aren't trying to use me for other reasons and stuff like that. So yeah, I really would love to. Fingers crossed that The Bachelor just wants to just go completely left field and just grab a random Australian and put me on.
No, I think you would be actually a great fit for it, and it would kind of change up the show a little bit too, which would be cool.
Do you think, if you know anyone there, just tell them that I'm hungry and I'm looking and
we're good friends. We have a lot of people there. Do you think you could balance 25 women? Because it usually starts with about 25, I think.
I think I've handled probably about that before. Sometimes I get very motivated in my DMs, so I'm trying to reply to as many as possible. But I think it would be a fun challenge, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you looking for? You know, are you looking for hookups right now? Are you looking for a relationship? And if you're looking for a relationship, what's the type of girl you want?
It's a tough question because for so long after my last relationship, I was hunting. I was like searching for, you know, my person and to have like my best friend that I could take traveling. That's like motivated to work. Like one of my good friends, Nikki, him and Lauren, like what they have is like they're building an empire together. They're driven. They're fun to be around, and it's like that's the type of relationship that I wanted for the longest time. But now I'm like so focused on building my brand, building my bread, and building, you know, my audience and stuff like that. So I kind of have pulled away from that team because I've found that a lot of people that I've dated, maybe it's just the influencer girls, I don't know, but they're just very taxing and they want a lot of energy and time. It's like, well, I want someone that's, you know, focused on their business, focused on their career. They have goals written out. They want to move forward, and you know, they're just fun to be around, and they're spontaneous and stuff like that. So I've kind of just pulled away from all that, and I just know that the right person's going to come at the right time. I do have my eye on someone, but I feel like she's just so far out of my league that every time I talk to her, I get nervous. So I just stopped talking to her.
Is it someone we would know?
Yeah.
Oh my God, give us a hint.
I can't. She'll think I'm a loser. But I stopped talking to her because she just makes me too nervous.
You're blushing. I love it. Oh my God. Okay, fine. We'll come back to that. You mentioned that you have a group text with the new cast. Do you have a group text with your cast from Too Hot to Handle?
No, not at all. There was like we did have it at the start, but everyone, you know, people started sleeping with each other. People started doing stuff behind each other's back, and it got to a point where it was like, okay, I kind of pulled myself away from that because I'm like, this is people are so focused on being like, Too Hot to Handle is my identity, whereas season 1 forever, you know, that's like their identity and how they're gonna progress. But for me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to level up, I'm trying to keep the wheels moving, and I want to watch good people win. I don't want to sit around and like just, who did this? So I'm calling this person, or let's call paparazzi here. It's like, I don't want to do that. I want to focus on like hanging out with business people that I want to move forward, and people that are, you know, creating different streams of income and diversifying their platform and diversifying their brand. I just found like a lot of people that I was associating with, especially in that season 1 cast, just wasn't really focused on like a big picture and didn't really have 5-10 year goals. Okay. So you don't keep in touch with anyone really? I actually did hang out with Nicole and Chloe recently on FaceTime just to catch up because they've always been good to me. They've always been really good people, and they've always kind of had my back. And they're smashing it. Like Nicole's singing now. She's got a music career. Chloe's into hosting. She was just on the circle. She's moving forward. Like she's keeping the wheels moving. And for me, that inspires me. And I'm like, okay, well, I enjoy being around people that are hungry, ambitious, and know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you won't tell me who you like, but can I ask you who your celebrity crush is? That's fair.
I have a handful.
Okay, let's go through them.
Okay, first one would have to be Sweetie, the singer.
Okay.
She's great.
Mm-hmm.
Chantel Jeffries. She's also a big celebrity crush of mine.
Say it again, just because I talked over you.
Chantel Jeffries. She's always been a big celebrity crush of mine. Selena Gomez. And I think Iggy Azalea, just because she replied to me one time.
She's going to be on that celebrity dating show coming up on ABC. Yeah. Yeah. So
how do I get on that?
You should have been on it.
Damn, I need to get on that.
All right. My guess is Chantal. That's who you're.
Interesting.
You mentioned that you have a group text with the new cast. Do you have a group text with your cast from Too Hot to Handle?
No, not at all. There was like we did have it at the start, but everyone, people started sleeping with each other. People started doing stuff behind each other's back, and it got to a point where it was like, okay, I kind of pulled myself away from that because I'm like, this is so, people are so focused on being like what the handles my identity, where season one, forever, that's like their identity and how they're gonna progress. But for me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to level up, trying to keep the wheels moving, and I want to watch good people win. I don't want to sit around and just, who did this? So I'm calling this person, let's call paparazzi here. It's like, I don't want to do that. I want to focus on hanging out with business people that want to move forward, and people that are, creating different streams of income and diversifying their platform and diversifying their brand. I just found like a lot of people that I was associating with, especially in that season one class, just wasn't really focused on like a big picture and didn't really have 5-10 year goals.
Okay. So you don't keep in touch with anyone really?
I actually did hang out with Nicole and Chloe recently on FaceTime just to catch up because they've always been good to me. They've always been really good people, and they've always kind of had my back. And they're smashing it. Like Nicole's singing now. She's got a music career. Chloe's into hosting. She was just in the circle. She's moving forward. Like she's keeping the wheels moving. And for me, that inspires me. And I'm like, okay, well, I enjoy being around people that are hungry, ambitious, and know what they're doing.
Yeah.